a girly who's living right now in your own little apartment, can afford your own bills, can pay your own rent, you don't rely on your family, you don't rely on a man in your life to financially provide for you, you're quite literally breaking generational trauma. I can literally say it started with me.
Much later.
They call her the cat lady. People say she's crazy just because she has a few dozen cats. But can anyone who loves animals that much really be crazy?
I was the first. I was literally the first woman in my entire female lineage to live alone.
Leave a like on this video if you think women deserve less. Here's a post that was in response to a Wall Street Journal article that reported American women have never been this resigned to staying single. The challenges of finding a romantic partner have been made more complicated by the growing divide in education and career prospects between men and women. Now, that is just flat out incorrect for most people. However, why do you think that is? Because third wave feminism prioritized putting women in college over men. So there's a significantly higher percentage of women in college than men. Therefore, those women are generally getting better jobs than men and creating this income disparity. That is third wave feminism. Third wave feminism also told these women that they should be promiscuous, that men wouldn't care about high body counts. And now, instead of understanding that they've done this to themselves, they're saying, well, it's the men that aren't making enough money. It's the men. It's their fault. That will complete the cycle for these people who are in their 30s, mid-30s that have never known love. They are now locking into a lifetime of spinsterdom. And at some point in their 40s and their 50s, they're going to realize it. And you're going to see, I believe, in this next generation's children, a return to the traditional relationship. Men and women getting married earlier, a societal rejection of promiscuity, a rejection of fat acceptance, and so much more. Oh, F it, I'll spill. By this way, this tweet has 110,000 likes. All of my friends, still single in their 30s, they're hunting unicorns. Somewhere along the way, a man stopped just being a man. Now he's supposed to be your therapist, best friend, passionate lover, future father of the year, financial provider, probably a mind reader too, all wrapped up into one devastatingly handsome package. We grew up on a steady diet of perfect men who could do it all. And now we're shocked to discover that actual humans come with some flaws. Men seem to get this. They prioritize and put up with a lot more ish overall. Meanwhile, women are out here with spreadsheets of required qualities, then wonder why they're perpetually disappointed. Now, this isn't all women, obviously. This is kind of the Instagram, my man needs to make $100,000 a year. He needs to be cool with my triple-digit body count, all this kind of stuff. Men are raised in how to treat a woman. Women are raised in what to expect from a man. Think about that, right? That is a very different mindset nowadays. When I grew up, it was, hey, open the doors. You know, be on top every once in a while. Don't be so lazy. You know, this kind of stuff. It was a little more detailed than that, but women are growing up. You need a man who's got a college degree. You need a man who's got a six-figure salary. You need a man who's going to be a handyman. You need a man who's going to be sensitive and cry at movies. You need a man who says this, and this. And now all the women that bought into that have found unending loneliness, and they've resided. They've become resolved. They've accepted their fate of loneliness. She continues, being an educated woman and making decent money adds more things to the laundry list of expectations. But the underlying problem is the same. Here's another trap. Even the ugliest of women can always find someone willing to sleep with them. Whole Math talks about this all the time. Open a dating app at any time and boom, 10 matches in 10 minutes. Most dating apps are hookup apps. In a trench coat, the pool of truly viable men gets smaller after your late 20s. So women see all these matches and they think they're sitting on endless opportunity. The casual fling marketplace and the commitment marketplace run on different fundamentals. I treat finding a match in the commitment marketplace as a zero-sum game. Your goal is to win and get out of the pool as quickly as possible or you're in for a lot of drama. Again, men have known this for 15 years now. Women are only now figuring it out. If I had to do it all over again, I'd have 2 to 3 non-negotiable values. Deprioritize looks in general, 6 feet, bald, fat, etc., and focus on financial compatibility. Be like VCs, venture capitalists, betting on their future potential instead of venture debt providers who look at your current profit and loss. I mean, this is exactly correct. This is, and we look at the Wall Street Journal article, her problem is very simple. She's attractive, smart, and highly career ambitious, and wants to marry the same or better. Except her male equal is likely looking for a supportive role, spouse to focus on raising their kids and helping him achieve even more of his goals. There are very few marriages with 2 highly ambitious spouses gunning for big career goals at the same time, especially once kids enter the picture. It happens, but it's rare, and there are lots of unseen compromise and conflict. Well, this is you girl bossed too close to the sun. You took care of yourself. Someone told you the lie when you were 15, your mom probably, who was unhappy in her marriage or was also buying into this third wave feminism. They told you that you can have it all. You can be a girl boss CEO and you can have a guy boss CEO. Well, every high work drive man that I know, I can only speak to myself. Okay. I have some friends that I consider high drive too. They're looking for the same thing. I have a good friend, Aaron. He runs his own business. I run my own business. Neither one of us give 2 rips about how much the girl makes. Does she take care of my needs? Otherwise, will she fill in the gap? And this is the gap that is equally as valuable. Some men get into trouble where they say, well, I make all the money. Like when I had my wife retire, I only made the mistake a few times, but I learned pretty quick never to throw money in her face. I learned pretty quick to say it was my money, because that would always lead to a terrible, terrible fight. Rightfully so, because I was still adjusting to what my mind had already told me I wanted. I wanted my wife at home to keep the house clean, to have kids, to, cook dinner, to take care of the pets, so I could make more money. That's what I wanted. Now, if I had paired myself with a woman that wanted the same thing, there would be no possible way that would have worked out. This is why gender roles exist. Now, if there is a boss, unstoppable wham girl boss who don't need no man, she's going to need a dude who is fine staying at home, who's fine taking care of what she needs to succeed. The problem is those women want both. Men who understand, hey, I'm going to work 100 hours a week. I'm going to build wealth. And, there's all this other stuff that has to get done. I need someone to do that. They get that. Women have been sold this lie that if you want to be an unstoppable girl boss, slay queen, go ahead. You can also find an unstoppable boy boss. And those guys don't want anything to do with you. They want some arm candy that's not going to be laying around. Like, look, you can call me superficial all you want. That's fine. But my wife knows that the expectation is that she doesn't lay around and not put makeup on, and that she gets dressed every day and looks nice. She knows that. It's not it sounds kind of creepy saying it out loud, but that's my expectation. I want my wife to look pretty. Okay. And if she's at work all day and this and the other, it's just things that you want are not the same. Men knew this. Some men want a good wife. There are gender roles. And this is something that third wave feminism has been pushing, is that there aren't gender roles. In fact, gender isn't even real. And all these women's uteruses are going to be elephants' graveyards. And they're going to be sad and alone. And the men that they could have found love with, men who are perhaps more family orientated or home orientated or project orientated, they've already settled for somebody else who probably isn't happy with them because they want an unstoppable boy boss. After a handful of underwhelming relationships and dozens of disappointing first dates, Andrea recently called off the search for a husband. The 29-year-old always thought she'd have found her life partner by now. Instead, she's house hunting solo and considering having kids on her own. That's sad. I'm financially self-sufficient enough to do these things myself, said Andrea, a Boston-based accountant. I'm willing to accept being single versus settling for someone who isn't the right fit. That is a you problem, lady. You have this ridiculous expectation of what a man. You have deluded yourself into thinking you're happy. She sees her plans for an independent future as making the best of a lousy situation. Girl, you're 29. You have tons of time to find a guy. You don't want a guy that's been divorced. You don't want a guy that has a kid. You don't want a guy. That's your choice. You could find a man. She says, but I feel happier just accepting my reality. I don't want to sit here and say I'm 100% happy, but I've accepted it. It's mentally and emotionally a sense of peace. This is what you'll live in a pod, you'll eat the bugs, and you'll be happy people wanted. This is what they wanted, and they've turned her into their prototypical person. Some of the numbers that are shocking. A 2022 Pew survey of single adults showed only 34% of single women were even looking for romance, compared to 54% of single men, down from 38 and 61, so even more people are checking out of the dating market. The share of women, listen to this, the share of women aged 18 to 40 who are single, that is neither married, no living with a boyfriend, was 51.4% in 2023. 51%. Call it 52. The same data in just 20 years before was at 41.8%. That's 10 basis points, or almost a 15% increase in people who just are single and resided to dying alone. In 2023, Pew Research Survey Center of 5,000 adults, 48% of women said that being married was not too far or not too at all important for a fulfilling life. They're wrong. Compared with 39% of men. So more men want to get married than these women, up from 31 and 28% in 2021. The entire society is checking out. They're checking out of the dating pool, and this is exactly what third wave feminism did. Most of us saw it, and it's so sad to see. I hope you're informed by this video. I hope these women and men will stop taking the black pill and will get back in the dating pool and start being more reasonable and realistic about what it takes to find happiness.